Children from hard places need parents who feel equipped to help them heal and grow no matter what. That takes preparation, education, support, and the services families need when they need them. In partnership with 8 sites, the National Quality Improvement Center for Adoption and Guardianship Support and Preservation tested promising practices and evidence-based models of support and intervention along a continuum. 8 interventions in 5 intervals, each focusing on a different level of risk. Together, the intervals represent the needs a family may encounter along the lifelong journey of adoption or guardianship. Tennessee selected the intensive interval for its intervention. Introducing NMT, the Neurosequential model of therapeutics. This is Tennessee, the volunteer state. Nestled between the Smoky Mountains and the Mississippi River, Tennessee is the birthplace of country music. It's also where adoption professionals are seeking new ways to support the families they serve.
The intervention that we are focusing on in Tennessee is called the Neurosequential model of therapeutics. Dr. Bruce Perry is the purveyor. It came out of the work that he does in neuroscience and neurobiology.
The Neurosequential model of therapeutics, or NMT, integrates principles from the neurosciences, developmental psychology, and a range of other disciplines to create a comprehensive understanding of a child, their family, and their broader community.
When it really came down to making that final decision about what intervention were we going to focus on, we decided that what we really needed for our post-adoptive families was not just another tool for their toolbox.
It's not a specific prescriptive technique. It is an approach, it's a perspective to problem solving to help you understand who is in front of you right now.
The population that we know the NMT has worked well with is specifically children and youth who have been maltreated or traumatized. That certainly speaks to the population of kids that we work with.
The NMT assessment helps the clinical team better understand the nature and timing of adversity and resilience-related factors during the child's development, and provides a way to organize a child's developmental history and current functioning to inform the clinical decision-making and treatment planning process.
All the sensory things, from the movements, all of that.
The clinician learns how to get a developmental history that looks at the history of adversity and the history of relational health. And then they look at the current functioning of the child.
We needed to be able to better understand where our kids and families were coming from, particularly with our kids. What was their experience like early in life? How has that impacted where they are today? And how best do we work with that child and family?
Understanding how the brain develops and how the different parts of the brain work together is the foundation of the NMT.
And one of the things that's so important to understand is that the brain, first of all, develops sequentially. It develops from lower parts, more primitive areas first, and as you get older, other parts of your brain sequentially organize.
The lower part of the brain oversees survival functions like heart rate, body temperature, and breathing. The middle part of the brain helps us interact with the world around us and involves our senses, movement, and speech. The top part of the brain controls our executive functions like concentration, problem solving, and reason.
If you grow up in an environment where you were inconsistently cared for, if there was chaos, violence, the lower parts of your brain have these little landmines.
Specific therapies and interventions can strengthen these areas of the brain.
What we are hoping to do is to provide services for families who have adopted, whether that be through the child welfare system or private domestic or international adoptions, who are in crisis or at risk of crisis.
With this population in mind, the Tennessee site focused on the intensive services interval. Intensive services target families who are experiencing difficulties that they are unable to manage on their own. These families usually require immediate services and are often at risk of experiencing a crisis or may already be in a crisis situation.
Our basic research question in Tennessee is, Will families who have adopted and receive NMT have better outcomes than children in the comparison counties who receive services as usual?
Tennessee's target population included families who had been referred or who self-referred for post-adoption services through the Adoption Support and Preservation Program, or ASAP. Children in 6 regions of the state received the NMT intervention, while children residing in the other regions received ASAP services as usual. Over the next 14 months, facilitators in the test areas learned the vocabulary and science behind the NMT model. They participated in training sessions with Dr. Perry.
Knowing how the brain develops, knowing how vulnerable it is in the first year.
They also participated in monthly, hands-on work groups to reinforce their learning.
You're going to start out with a thumb up and a finger out and switch back and forth.
The amount of information we were trying to absorb at first seemed overwhelming, but all our staff are becoming much more comfortable with the terminology, with the ideas of intervention that Dr. Perry suggests.
Complex state regulation, sleep, and appetite. That is correct as well.
Parallel.
It is parallel.
After the training, ASAP family counselor Kate Johnson set out to use the NMT skills she learned to help families she works with in Knox County. Like many ASAP services, NMT is delivered in the family's home. The Douglas family has been working with Kate to see how NMT can help their adolescent son, Michael.
Did you sign her up for the field trip? Because I did not.
I did.
Thank you.
The Douglases built their family of 6 through adoption.
Hey.
First came Tino. He came to join our family when he was 5. Then Michael, who joined us at about 2. Then Jakeem, who also joined us at age 2. And Jeray came to join us when she was about 2.5.
Several of our kids were drug exposed in utero, and addiction has been the reason all of our children have come to live with us.
When they began the intervention, Kate worked with the Douglases to complete a comprehensive assessment of Michael.
Then I'm going to get the child's full history, prenatal through present day, and that will cover a lot of the information I need.
We know that all of our children experienced neglect. Some of them experienced a great deal of neglect. They were often not fed or were fed really inappropriately. When Michael came to live with us, and for years afterwards, he was terrified when the doorbell rang or someone knocked on the door. And every time the doorbell would ring, he would scramble up a bookshelf or try to hide under furniture.
To prepare for her next meeting with the Douglases, Kate enters the information she's compiled into the NMT online portal.
Birth mom did not care for herself during pregnancy.
And then they score all these different items and push a button, and then they have this report.
The report includes therapeutic recommendations that address the child's current needs in 4 domains of functioning: social, emotional, cognitive, and physical.
It'll show a map of their current functioning, how they're doing right now, and gives therapeutic recommendations.
And then they use that information to select and sequence the therapeutic intervention.
The goal of each recommendation is to grow and strengthen underdeveloped areas of the brain with a specific sequence of therapies and interventions. While every case is different, many families see improvements in as little as 1 year. As Kate works with the Douglas family, she'll track the changes in Michael's brain map and share his progress.
We can then sit down with the family and say, all right, here is developmentally where your child's brain is. This is what an optimal brain at age 7 or whatever age the child is, it looks like.
Back at the Douglas home, Kate shares Michael's brain map and recommendations with Allison and Jonathan.
So these 4 domains, you can see the actual physical scores are over here. So there's really nothing severe in the brainstem, which
really
tells me that y'all have already done a lot of really good work. There's still some obviously mild and moderate compromises, so we'll still kind of want to focus there and strengthen that a bit. Moving down here, his developmental risk, obviously very high risk in the beginning, and then just like a super drastic plummet down into low risk now.
It showed us that there were some areas that were really well developed and that were strong and a good foundation.
This is going to be the only one that's essential because this was our lowest area.
And then it also showed us the areas that we have more work to do.
Developing transitioning activity.
Yes.
For sensory integration, I'm just going to address those lower brainstem issues. The brain develops from the bottom up. So if these lower parts aren't mature, it's kind of like building blocks. So without this strong foundation, none of this can properly really grow and mature. Under stress, this is literally kind of where he's able to act. So you can kind of follow that over, and it's about toddler age. So his scores between infancy and early childhood.
When he has some extra stressors, he's responding at the level of like a toddler.
A very young toddler.
That makes so much sense.
And then these other recommendations are all the sensory brain things you have down there.
With a list of recommendations and Kate's support, the Douglases began to work on the targeted areas.
Michael, because of his sensory processing, really needed a whole series of things that he would go through and experience. Big motor skills, rolling, pushing and pulling. So we created a gymnasium room with the monkey bars and swings.
Animal-assisted therapy was recommended in several areas for him, including self-regulation.
So, Michael started working with a therapy dog. Her name is Hope.
That rhythmic nature of petting the dog or brushing the dog can be really calming to a brainstem that's kind of disorganized and out of sorts.
With Kate's guidance, the family continued to incorporate other interventions and activities aimed at helping Michael self-regulate.
Just doing things with rhythm. Lots of bilateral stimulation from walking, swinging, yoga.
We take 3 quick breaths in while we move our arms up, out, and up again, and then we'll breathe out as we fold all the way down.
We've done lots of trampoline jumping and lots of playing outside.
You ready, Dad?
I think when I understood that my child really was functioning on a much lower developmental level, I was able to roll with some of the behaviors a little more and make accommodations for him. Instead of disciplining a child for acting immature, I was able to see, well, 4-year-old Michael or 2-year-old Michael needs this right now.
It's not healing the behavior, it's healing the brain, and then you will see the changes in the behaviors.
2 years after the initial recommendations, the Douglases continue to see improvements.
In his latest brain map, we saw most of those areas that were significantly challenged move up to an area of moderate or mild challenge. Our family felt less stressed. We weren't always waiting for the next problem to come along.
No repeats or hesitation.
Lots of things were cut off before they escalated.
Once you understand a little bit about the mechanism and what's under a child's hood, then you can be much more intentional about fixing it.
Learning more about the NMT and just about trauma in general has helped me understand that what happens to you in your earliest years is carried forward for good or ill. I love you, baby.
I love you.
And that the brain has this amazing ability to change.
You did great.
He's a totally different kid. I mean, he really is.
We are so excited because we feel like this way of relating to kids and understanding them will be able to really revolutionize the way parents see their children, that it's from a place of compassion, that it's from a place of empathy.